In a society often characterized by superficial interactions and a relentless pursuit of external validation, the concept of becoming a high-value man, deeply rooted in the principles of Stoicism, offers a refreshing and empowering alternative. It's not about dominance or manipulation. Instead, it's about cultivating an inner strength, a quiet confidence, and an unwavering commitment to personal excellence that naturally commands respect and attracts meaningful connections. All too often, men find themselves unwittingly relegated to the role of supporting character in someone else's narrative, their actions and decisions dictated by the whims and expectations of others. This insidious erosion of personal agency can lead to a sense of powerlessness and a feeling of being trapped in a life that doesn't truly reflect their values or aspirations. The harsh reality is that if a man fails to take charge of his own value, if he allows external forces to define his worth and dictate his path, he will inevitably lose. This isn't a competition against women, but a personal challenge to become the best version of oneself, a man of integrity, purpose, and unwavering self-respect. To that end, this discourse will uncover a set of 7 transformative rules, inspired by Stoic wisdom, designed not to break a woman's ego in a petty or vindictive way, but to help men break free from their own self-limiting beliefs, cultivate an unshakable sense of self-worth, and become the architects of their own lives. These principles, when consistently applied, will empower men to maintain composure in the face of adversity, command respect through their actions and character, and establish themselves as individuals of purpose, strength, and genuine value. This is more than just a set of rules. It's a wake-up call, an invitation to embark on a journey of self-discovery and personal transformation, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. One of the most pervasive and insidious traps that men fall into, often without even realizing it, is the relentless pursuit of validation. This silent destroyer of respect manifests in various forms, from seeking constant reassurance to over-explaining actions and obsessively worrying about upsetting others. Think about it. Every time you send a double text, anxiously awaiting a response, every time you over-explain your actions, seeking approval or forgiveness, or every time you constantly ask, "Did I upset you?" you are essentially handing over your power on a silver platter. You are communicating that your worth, your happiness, and your sense of self-esteem are contingent upon her approval, her validation, and her emotional state. While empathy and consideration for others are undoubtedly important qualities, the constant need for external validation can be deeply unattractive and ultimately undermines the very respect you are seeking. Women, generally speaking, don't admire a man who appears desperate for their approval. They don't gravitate toward those who seem insecure, needy, or overly concerned with their opinions. Instead, they are drawn to men who are confident, self-assured, and firm in their sense of self. These are men who know their worth, who are comfortable in their own skin, and who don't need constant reassurance to feel good about themselves. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When you seek validation from a woman, you essentially make her the judge of your worth. You are telling her that your value as a man, your happiness, and your sense of self-esteem depend on her opinion of you. This behavior not only diminishes your self-respect, as you are essentially subordinating yourself to her judgment, but also erodes hers for you. She may initially enjoy the attention and the sense of power that comes from being the object of your validation-seeking behavior, but over time, it will likely lead to a loss of respect and a decline in attraction. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wisely said, "The approval of others is a fickle thing. It is unreliable, temporary, and often based on factors outside your control." Basing your sense of worth on the shifting sands of external validation is a recipe for insecurity, anxiety, and ultimately, unhappiness. To break free from this insidious trap, you must start shifting your focus inward. Stop basing your self-esteem on how quickly she replies to your texts, whether she compliments you, or even if she shows interest. Instead, anchor your confidence in who you are as a person, in your values, your accomplishments, and your commitment to personal growth. Build your value from within, not from external validation. Focus on developing your skills, pursuing your passions, and becoming the best version of yourself, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Here's a practical exercise to help you break free from validation-seeking behavior. The next time you catch yourself seeking her approval, whether it's through a compliment, a question, or an attempt to please, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What does her opinion change about who I am? Dig deep and examine the underlying motivations behind your behavior. You will likely realize that her opinion holds no real power unless you allow it to. You're the one who is giving her the power to define your worth, and you have the power to take it back. By letting go of the need for her validation, you not only regain your power, but also become more desirable in her eyes. Women respect and are attracted to men who don't need their approval to feel worthy. They are drawn to men who are confident, self-assured, and comfortable in their own skin. If you embody this rule, if you consistently demonstrate that you are not seeking her validation, you will notice an immediate change in how others respond to you. Confidence without the need for validation is magnetic, and it's one of the foundational traits of a high-value man. It signals that you are secure in yourself, that you know your worth, and that you are not afraid to be yourself, regardless of what others may think. And that, in itself, is incredibly attractive. Another incredibly potent, yet often underestimated tool in a man's arsenal is the art of silence. Silence, when wielded effectively, transcends mere absence of speech. It becomes a powerful form of communication, a statement of strength, and a catalyst for introspection. Most men underestimate the power of silence, often feeling compelled to fill every void with words, to over-explain, to defend, or to argue. However, a high-value man understands that silence can be far more impactful than any carefully crafted sentence. Picture this. She's upset, perhaps even angry, and expecting you to react in a predictable way, to defend yourself, to argue back, to try to appease her. Instead, you remain calm, composed, and silent. This isn't just a lack of words. It's a message, a bold, unshakable statement that says, I don't need to prove myself to you. I am confident in who I am, and I will not be drawn into your emotional drama. This type of silence is unsettling, even unnerving for most people. We are conditioned to expect a response, especially in heated moments. When you deny them that expected reaction, they often lose control of the situation. They are left to grapple with their own emotions, without the immediate validation or conflict that they were seeking. This can be incredibly disarming and can force them to confront their own behavior in a way that words alone could never achieve. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "He who controls his emotions controls the situation." Silence, in this context, is a direct reflection of that control. It demonstrates that you are not ruled by your emotions, that you are capable of remaining calm and composed even in the face of provocation. This is a sign of strength, maturity, and self-mastery, all qualities that are highly attractive to women. But silence isn't just for arguments or heated moments. It's also a powerful tool for creating intrigue, mystery, and a sense of authority. Imagine you're on a date, and instead of oversharing, rushing to fill the gaps in the conversation, or trying to impress her with your wit and charm, you simply let the silence linger. You remain confident, comfortable, and present in the moment, allowing her to lean into the moment and experience the tension that builds between you. This creates a sense of mystery, an unspoken sense of authority, and a desire to know more about you. It communicates that you're not desperate for her attention, that you're comfortable in your own company, and that you're not afraid to be vulnerable. To master this practice, start by being more comfortable with silence in your daily life. Resist the urge to over-explain yourself or justify your actions to others. If she questions you or challenges you, respond only when necessary and with purpose. Avoid rambling and speak with clarity and conciseness. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. People will listen more attentively, and they will be more likely to take your words seriously. Remember, silence isn't passive, it's active. It's choosing to remain composed when chaos surrounds you. It's holding your ground when she tries to provoke a reaction, and it's communicating confidence without saying a word. That's the art of silence, and when you master it, you become a force to be reckoned with, a man who commands respect, inspires intrigue, and ultimately attracts the kind of meaningful connections that you desire. Another critical element of becoming a high-value man lies in cultivating an irresistible life, a life filled with purpose, passion, and personal fulfillment. The most magnetic men are not those who chase after women or seek their validation, but those who have built lives worth living, lives that are intrinsically rewarding and independent of external approval. Ask yourself this: are you chasing her attention, constantly seeking her approval and validation? Or are you chasing your purpose, pursuing your goals and passions with unwavering dedication? The answer to this question will reveal a great deal about your current state and the path you need to take to become a high-value man. Women are naturally drawn to men who are passionate about their goals and ambitious about their future. A man with a purpose is not just attractive, he's unstoppable. He exudes confidence, energy, and a sense of direction that is inherently appealing. He is not defined by his relationships or his social status, but by his commitment to something larger than himself. He has a reason to get out of bed each morning, a fire in his belly that drives him forward, and a sense of purpose that guides his actions. Here's the reality: if your world revolves around her, if your happiness and self-esteem depend on her presence in your life, she will eventually lose respect for you. Why? Because it shows that you lack direction, that you're not pursuing your own goals and passions, and that you are essentially making her responsible for your happiness. This is an enormous burden to place on anyone, and it will inevitably lead to resentment and a decline in attraction. Instead of focusing on her Instagram stories, obsessively checking her social media, or waiting for her to text back, focus on leveling up your own life. Start building your empire, whether it's in your career, your business, or your personal projects. Improve your fitness, both physically and mentally, by exercising regularly, eating healthy, and cultivating a positive mindset. Pursue hobbies that make you feel alive, that ignite your passion, and that allow you to express your creativity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By redirecting your thoughts towards self-improvement, towards the pursuit of your goals, and towards the cultivation of a meaningful life, you elevate your value, not just in the eyes of others, but also in your own eyes. When you're busy building a life that excites you, that challenges you, and that fulfills you, she'll notice. Her ego will likely take a hit when she realizes that she's no longer the center of your universe, that you have a life of your own, and that you are not solely focused on her. She may start to wonder what you're up to, why you're so focused and driven, and what it is that makes you so compelling. Imagine this: while she's scrolling through social media, comparing herself to others and seeking validation through likes and comments, you're at the gym, pushing your physical limits and building strength both inside and out. While she's gossiping with her friends, you're reading a book, expanding your knowledge, and challenging your assumptions. While she's watching Netflix, passively consuming entertainment, you're learning a new skill, developing your talents, and creating something of value. You're out there making moves, pursuing your goals, and living a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. That's the power of creating a life that's irresistible, not just to her, but to anyone who crosses your path. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, about living with purpose, and about attracting the kind of meaningful connections that you desire. In the realm of interpersonal dynamics, especially in relationships, the establishment and consistent enforcement of boundaries are paramount for maintaining self-respect, preserving emotional well-being, and fostering healthy interactions. A high-value man understands this principle deeply and approaches boundary setting not as an act of control or aggression, but as a fundamental expression of self-worth and a necessary component of any thriving relationship. Boundaries aren't simply about saying no, although that is certainly an important aspect of it. They are about defining your worth, articulating your needs, and establishing clear expectations for how you deserve to be treated. They are the invisible lines that protect your physical, emotional, and mental space, ensuring that you're not taken advantage of, disrespected, or drained by the demands of others. Every high-value man knows that setting boundaries is a non-negotiable skill. Without them, you invite chaos into your life, allowing others to dictate your time, energy, and emotional state. You become a doormat, constantly sacrificing your own needs to please others and ultimately undermining your own self-respect. Women, like all humans, will test you. It's not necessarily personal or malicious. It's simply human nature to probe the limits of what is acceptable. They may push your buttons, challenge your boundaries, or attempt to manipulate you into doing things you don't want to do. How you respond to these tests determines whether she respects you or walks all over you. If you consistently cave in, compromise your values, and allow her to cross your boundaries without consequence, she will quickly lose respect for you. She may continue to take advantage of your willingness to please, but she will not admire you for it. On the other hand, if you calmly but firmly enforce your boundaries, if you stand your ground and refuse to compromise your self-respect, she will likely respect you more, even if she doesn't always agree with you. Here's the secret to setting boundaries effectively. Calmly but firmly enforce them. If she crosses a line, don't get angry, defensive, or emotional. Instead, make it clear that certain behaviors are not acceptable. Use simple, direct language, such as, "That doesn't work for me," or "I'm not comfortable with that." Avoid making excuses or justifying your boundaries. Simply state them clearly and confidently. When you do this, you're not being controlling or domineering. You're being self-respecting. You are communicating that you value yourself, that you know what you deserve, and that you will not tolerate behavior that undermines your worth. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Setting boundaries isn't about controlling her actions. It's about controlling your response. It's about standing firm in your values, refusing to compromise your self-respect, and taking responsibility for your own emotional well-being. When you enforce boundaries consistently, you shift the power dynamic in the relationship. You're no longer chasing her approval, tolerating disrespect, or sacrificing your own needs to please her. You're showing her that you're a man who knows his worth, who is confident in his own skin, and who will not allow himself to be taken advantage of. And that, in itself, is incredibly attractive. Another crucial element of becoming a high-value man is the ability to detach emotionally, to maintain a sense of perspective and avoid becoming overly invested in the outcome of any particular situation, especially in relationships. Emotional detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring about others or that you become cold and aloof. Instead, it means that you stop over-caring, that you avoid becoming emotionally dependent on others, and that you prioritize your own well-being and inner peace. Most men make the mistake of getting too emotionally invested too quickly, especially in the early stages of a relationship. They become obsessed with her thoughts and feelings, constantly seeking her approval and reassurance, and allowing their own happiness to depend on her presence in their lives. This is where they lose their power, becoming vulnerable to manipulation, emotional blackmail, and ultimately, heartbreak. When you're emotionally detached, you become unpredictable. You're not easily swayed by her emotions, you're not constantly seeking her approval, and you're not afraid to walk away if the relationship is not serving your best interests. This unpredictability keeps her intrigued, as she never quite knows what you're going to do or say next. It also communicates that you are confident, self-assured, and not desperate for her attention, all qualities that are highly attractive to women. Here's how it works in practice. Instead of obsessing over her feelings, constantly trying to figure out what she's thinking and feeling, focus on controlling your own. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus only on what we can control, which primarily consists of our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. You can't control how she feels about you, how she behaves, or what decisions she makes. However, you can control how you react to her actions, how you interpret her behavior, and how you choose to respond to her emotions. When you detach emotionally, You free yourself from the emotional roller coaster that many men experience in relationships. You stop seeking reassurance or approval and start living for yourself, pursuing your goals, and cultivating your own happiness. You understand that your worth is not contingent on her approval and that you are capable of being happy and fulfilled regardless of her presence in your life. This doesn't mean that you don't care about her or that you are indifferent to her feelings. It simply means that you care wisely, that you protect your own peace of mind, and that you prioritize your own growth and well-being. Detachment is about balance. Care, but don't overextend. Love, but don't lose yourself. It's about being emotionally available without becoming emotionally dependent. When you master this, you become a man who's impossible to manipulate, who is not easily swayed by emotions, and who is confident, self-assured, and in control of his own destiny. And that's the kind of man that every woman respects, even if she doesn't always understand him. In a world saturated with artificiality, conformity, and a relentless pressure to fit in, authenticity stands out as a rare and highly valued quality. A high-value man understands this principle deeply and strives to be unapologetically authentic in all aspects of his life, particularly in his interactions with women. Authenticity is more than just honesty. It's about being true to yourself, living in alignment with your values, and expressing your thoughts and feelings openly and honestly, without fear of judgment or rejection. Most men dilute their opinions, hide their true selves, and conform to the expectations of others in an attempt to avoid conflict or rejection. They fear being different, being misunderstood, or being disliked. However, here's the truth. Women respect men who are unapologetically authentic, even if it means disagreeing with them. They are drawn to men who have a strong sense of self, who know what they believe in, and who are not afraid to stand up for their convictions, even when it's unpopular. Being authentic means standing by your values and beliefs, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. It means speaking your mind, even when it means risking disapproval or disagreement. It means owning your truth, acknowledging your flaws, and embracing your imperfections. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stop worrying about whether she'll agree with you or like you. Instead, focus on being the man you're proud to be, the man who lives in accordance with his values, and the man who is true to himself, regardless of what anyone else thinks." Authenticity isn't just about honesty, it's about courage. It's about having the confidence to be yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it means standing alone, and even when it means facing criticism or rejection. When you're authentic, you become untouchable. You're no longer seeking external validation. You're no longer trying to please everyone, and you're no longer afraid to be yourself. You're living in alignment with your true self, and that makes you incredibly resilient, confident, and attractive. The final and perhaps most profound rule for becoming a high-value man is to break free from your own ego. This isn't about breaking a woman's ego in a petty or vindictive way. It's about transcending the ego-driven behaviors that hold you back from achieving your full potential and forming meaningful connections. Your ego is the part of you that craves recognition, seeks validation, and fears failure. It's what drives insecurity, jealousy, and the constant need to prove yourself to others. When you're ruled by your ego, you're constantly comparing yourself to others, seeking their approval, and fearing their judgment. You're trapped in a cycle of competition, insecurity, and ultimately, unhappiness. When you let go of these destructive traits, when you transcend the games and power struggles that are so common in relationships, you unlock a new level of freedom, self-awareness, and inner peace. Breaking free from your ego means focusing on growth, purpose, and inner peace. It means rising above petty conflicts, letting go of the need to be right, and operating on a higher level of consciousness. It means recognizing that your worth is not contingent on your accomplishments, your possessions, or the opinions of others, but rather on your character, your values, and your commitment to living a meaningful life. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you're no longer ruled by your ego, you become unstoppable. You're no longer chasing approval or validation. You're no longer afraid of failure, and you're no longer driven by insecurity or jealousy. You're living for yourself, pursuing your goals, and striving to make a positive impact on the world. And that's when you become the high-value man she can't ignore, not because you're trying to impress her, but because you've become the best version of yourself, a man of integrity, purpose, and unwavering self-respect. In summary, the path to becoming a high-value man, as illuminated by the principles of Stoicism, is not about manipulating or controlling others, but about cultivating an inner strength, a quiet confidence, and an unwavering commitment to personal excellence. It's about breaking free from the ego-driven behaviors that hold you back, embracing authenticity, setting boundaries, detaching emotionally, building an irresistible life, mastering the art of silence, and ultimately, stopping the relentless pursuit of validation. True strength comes from self-control, from the ability to master your emotions, to live in accordance with your values, and to pursue your goals with unwavering dedication. It's about finding purpose and building a life that excites you, inspires you, and fulfills you, regardless of external circumstances. And it's about having the courage to be yourself, to stand up for your beliefs, and to live a life that is authentic, meaningful, and true.